You know, growing up in Brooklyn, I was a huge fan of Kirk Douglas. I remember going to cowboy movies, and I followed Kirk Douglas' entire career. And I have great admiration for him for several reasons. One, of course, are his movies, and then he's so involved with the Jewish community, and such a really good person. You know, a lot of charity, and I really like the fact that he always identifies himself as being a Jew. So it's a great pleasure that I'm going to review his book. Now, unfortunately, the Ragman's son, the text appears mirror image, so you have to excuse me. So what I want to talk about, Kirk Douglas, I'll talk about my favorite movies. The first movie that I really loved was Paths of Glory, made by Stanley Kubrick. And of course, the idea of the movie Paths of Glory came from Kirk Douglas himself. He read the book and he picked Kubrick to make the movie. And he makes it clear in this book. This is a get even kind of book as well. He gets even with people. And he's very nasty about people who he felt were nasty to him. And he really gives a lot of shticks to Stanley Kubrick. But Paths of Glory, it's a great movie, an anti-war movie. His acting was so passionate, a wonderful hero, and it's a great ending, which I won't tell you about. But speaking of Paths of Glory, this book should have had a picture of Douglas with Paths of Glory on the front page, on the cover, not this silly book. I don't even know who he was in this picture, what movie this was for him. So the other movie I saw when I was a young boy was The Juggler, where Douglas plays a Holocaust survivor who was a juggler, and he goes to Israel. He lost his family. It's a very, very sad movie. It takes place in Israel. And the book, it says, it was the first movie made in Israel by Hollywood companies. And he got to meet Ben Gurion. And I haven't seen it in years. Maybe I'll go on YouTube and watch it. Of course, the movie I loved when I was a kid was Champion, where he plays a boxer, a very angry, bitter guy who ends up very sad ending, but very nasty. Man, it was written by Ring Lardner. He's great in that movie. Of course, Spartacus, he played every man's revolutionary. He was very, very good in that. But back to the book. Of course, there was Lust for Life, which I haven't seen in years. But the book itself has, he talks a lot about, he grew up with the 6 sisters, and of course his mother loved him dearly, nice Jewish boy. His father was very distant. So a great theme of the book is the anti-Semitism that Kirk Douglas endured in his life from being a young boy in Amsterdam, New York, even in Hollywood. So he talks a lot about that. Another thing he talks about, every woman he's had sex with, it seems, and he doesn't use the word sex. Every woman he uses that word, the F word, many times in the book. And he's not afraid to use the C word. And he's a very angry kind of guy. A lot of this book is getting even with people who are mean to him, and women who he didn't get along with. And he admits to being a womanizer, by the way, in big detail. And people have been very good to him. Betty McCall been very nice to him. So he lists all his movies, and of course he was a groundbreaker in that he refused long-term contracts. So he really had a tremendous effect on the movie business. But his overriding theme in this book is his love of Judaism. And, of course, his boys. He had 4 boys through 2 marriages. And he's been through some very difficult personal things with his boys that don't even appear in his book. And But ultimately, the most important part of the book, in my opinion, is Douglas's love of the Jewish people, and he's very charitable, and he was a groundbreaker. But finally, I highly recommend this book. It was published in 1988, and but Paths of Glory, a snapshot from Paths of Glory, should be on this cover, not this for thinking a picture of some very odd movie he did way long ago. Well, thanks for listening.